The build would be this build. I'll ping it in squad chat. That's the build I always use for my DPS. I think it's the same one as the FTL one. Yeah. But it doesn't have Dragon's Maw. Let's go over the traits first. First, we'll go over the Seal trait line, where we cast a symbol whenever we get to like 75% health. After that, the first trait we select is Fiery Wrath. It will give us strike damage, more strike damage against people that are burning. The other two will give Might, but we already get Might from our supports, and also Resolution and Fury. And this trait that automatically unlocks will give us a 5% damage increase. And the second trait we select. It will give us, it's called Zealous Blade. It will give us 120 power, but you get more power if you're using a greatsword, but we are not gonna use a greatsword. And also our greatsword skills will be reduced for cooldowns. The other two traits, one of them gives you condition from power, but we don't use conditions. And the other trait, Furious Focus, when we attack with our symbols or any attack, we give vulnerabilities to others, but we already give that to others with just our symbols. And symbolic powers, more damage to your symbols. And we select Symbolic Avenger because for the third trait line, because it will give us a maximum of like 10% damage increase if we get it on max. You can get 5 stacks of Symbolic Avenger though, so it's like 10%. Shattered Aegis, that's the other trait. You'll get more, when you block an attack, it will explode, do damage around you, but it cannot critical hit, so it's not that good. In spirit weapons, you get the third trait line. You get another Sword of Justice. Ever since the nerf, it still doesn't matter. The Symbolic Avenger is better than an extra cast of Sword of Justice. And now the second trait specs? Yeah, Radiance. We get, yep. When we activate F1, we get a light aura. It will protect us from Condi. So the trait that we select is right hand strength. We get precision and also power. But we don't use a sword, so the recharge reduce doesn't matter. And Healer's Resolution, that's other trait. we don't use our healing skill for damage, so that doesn't matter. And we also get them from our supports. And the other trait called End of Fire, they have the enemies have to have like over 3 stacks of fire on them for you to get Fury, but we also get that from our supports, so it doesn't matter. And the F1, this trait called Renews Justice, when we use the F1 and kill someone after it's recharged, you can use it again after you kill someone. And Retribution, this the trait we select. We do more damage if we get the resolutions which we can get from our supports. And Radiant Fire is for Condis. You get them from, it's for your torch. But we don't use Condis as a power dragon hunter. And Signet of Wrath is to immobilize your target, but it's situational, it's like a roaming skill. And this automatic trait we get, it's called Radiant Power. We do more damage. No. We get more ferocity against people that are burning. So like a 10% increase with more ferocity. And resolutions give you more critical chance increase by 25%. This is the trait that we select on the third trait line. We also get Might for 6 seconds. And this other trait will reduce the recharge on your signets. We don't use it that much. And Amplified Wrath. Every time you put Condis on someone, it does more damage.
You can never have too much treasure.
We are power dragon hunters, so that won't matter that much. Your F, or the F now for the dragon hunter trait line. The Spear of Justice, you throw it for your F1. This will reveal others, stealth people. It will cripple
Train fire on my target.
over time, as long as if you have it on someone. You also have the choice of pulling them, but against a Zerg, it will always just be ignored. Everyone will have stab against that. So it's better to leave it on them, crippling them the whole time. And traps. The trait we select is Piercing Light, because your traps will now slow your enemy and will reduce your cooldowns on your traps as well. The others will cripple enemies that you disable. It's called Dull Senses. The first one is better because you get slow and one of your traps cripple. Wings of the Resolve. Well, this the other trait, Soaring Devastation. So your F2 will immobilize others once you land it on someone, but you already can use it. Use your Scepter 3 to immobilize. Defender's Dogma. Blocking. Blocking would just reduce the cooldown of your Spear's just Sword of Justice. No, Spear's Justice. Zealous Aggression. You'll do more damage on crippled foes, crippled people. So like, if you do plant your Test of Fate, it will cripple people. You can do more damage to them, and your Scourge is gonna put that on them. Shards of Fate. When you put a trap on the floor, there's some little circles that appears, and it will damage more people. It's called Shards of Fate. It will also give you Aegis and Stab, but your supports will give that to you nearly all the time. And Bulwark. Your F3 will get a more charged duration and will protect you even longer. It also is bigger than the normal F3. Per your side, you'll do more damage the more further they are. Yeah, you do more damage if they're far away from you, like 1200 range with your staff. And then when you like pull, and this trait we select will be called Heavy Light. When you pull or do anything like immobilize, it will give you stab. That's really good when you have your scepter and immobilize them. A Big Game Hunter. You do more damage when you spear someone, but that really won't matter when you can just do more damage with your supports. Oh, and the third one, when you block, it's called Hunter's Fortification. When you block, you get you receive less damage when you have no condies on you. It's not that good because you'll get condi spammed all the time during Zerg fights. And now, let's see. The equipment we use are in FTL. We mostly use this Marauders nearly for everything as a DPS. After story says that we will someday end up switching to more damaging equipment once we get used to it. And now the equipment that I use is full Berserker because I'm already used to doing damage and taking way less damage as well. Alright, now for the rotation. You'll mostly just be doing staff 2 and 3 then Scepter 2 with Sword of Justice. That's like the only rotation you only need to know. After that, once you are still in melee, you just press your Torch 5, then go back to Scepter 2, and back to Staff 2. Back to Staff. And repeat the same rotation again. And once we push melee, activate your F3 and start blocking for your teammates. Because in melee you will receive a ton of damage as a Dragon Hunter. The meta build always runs Renewed Focus because you'll get like 7 seconds just of protection just from your F3 and Renewed Focus. Not only that, you can get your F3 refreshed again so you can use it again. And that's like 11 seconds of protection for Dragon Hunters. I mostly use Dragon's Mob because I can just place it and get might increase for like a few seconds, like 6. It's enough time for me to get my rotations off and also to plant my traps. Yeah, and when you are planting traps, make sure you are facing away from the enemy so you can just run and place traps while you do damage. You don't even have to look at them and still be placing traps, doing a lot of damage as well. The turn back, you mostly can just do that and place traps. You run at full speed all the time. I use Action Cam because it's really easy for me to do that. As Action Cam, and I'm mostly used to it as well. Mostly the rotation for placing traps is just these 3 at the same time. In order. After that, the whole rotation is like that. So when we get into melee, as soon as we started doing a rotation, just ignore the rotation and start planting traps running to your tag instead of just doing the staff rotation like that. And your F2. Right now your F2 can cure your conditions. It will remove your immobilization. It will clear conditions and heal you as well. Your F1, I think I already explained it, but it will cripple over time. You can throw it at the squad at any time as well. You don't have to target anyone as well. You can just throw it at stealth people, the Zerg, when they are stealthing. It will reveal like 5 of them at the same time. It will ruin their stealth because they will also be crippled And the F3. It will give you an Aegis. It will start blocking for like 3 seconds. It can protect like 5 people as well. And that's pretty much it.
120 power, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking whether if it might be more valuable to have actually the other one that puts vulnerability, because vulnerability stacks up to 25 stacks, and if you're applying vulnerability constantly, you're increasing not only your own damage, but you're increasing the damage of everybody around you as well. So I'm wondering if that might not be a higher value trait rather than the 120 power, which is probably about 3% it gives you, less than 3%, 2%, 2-3% more damage.
Yeah, normally we have something that will just make that way less valuable. Is this Sword of Justice. Once we get to melee, it's really devastating. It will put 12 in the instant it hits.
12 stacks of vulnerability. Right, but I mean, this puts vulnerability every time you hit with anything. So that's like on all of your skills. If I'm understanding the trait correctly, let me just look at it again.
Yeah, it's on everything. Well, you have
I think the only downside to that is if they have good Condi clear, right? Then it's essentially useless.
Well, yeah, but if they have good Condi clear,
yeah,
you're still reapplying it constantly. I don't know. Just a thing.
Yeah, normally you also
EWP. Do we want to take it?
Yeah,
let's take it. Let's take it. Take it. Oh no, it's cute. Forget it.
Yeah, when you use action cam, you gotta make sure you have a very comfortable button you can press back, just in case you need to take out Siege from range. You can basically just target anything like Siege. In fact, you can also target from this roof over here on the square, and you will do damage from under here. Like my Sword of Justice is stuck inside the roof, it will hit that floor right there.
Yeah, the game is stupid like that. Any roof you can put your ground, it's gonna be slightly in front of you. So when you need to drop, stuff at your feet, you need to actually move a little bit so that you drop it in the right spot. And that's the only part of it that is kind of annoying. And the other thing is when something flips, there's going to be a little thing that pops up for claiming, and will take you out of action cam while that's up. You have to close it to go back to action cam.
Yeah, you're gonna have to end up turning that action cam back on during fight if that happens.
Or just dismiss the little claim window. Like you can hit the X. Once it disappears, you're back into action cam.
Yeah. Oh, any more questions? Alright.
What sigils do you... Oh, I'm sorry. What sigils do you use again?
Sigils.
On the weapons?
Oh, sigils weapons. We use, I use Force and Impact on my staff, and Force and Bloodlust on my Scepter and Torch.
And Torch. Okay.
I was gonna ask... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And the runes, I use Scholar, which the FTL build also uses.
Scholar, okay.
What's the question?
My question was back to action cam, and if you don't want to do it now, it's fine, but I'd like to touch base with someone later. But I want to know what the difference again is between I do the one where I can move my mouse wherever and just push the button and there drops one of my shades, and it's real quick. So I want to know how the action cam works differently and if it's quicker. But I don't need to know it all now if you want to do something else.
Compared to action cam and no action cam, you can just leave your camera and point your dot in the middle in the same spot, and you still be able to move with your keyboard back and forth and left and right. Compared to keyboard and mouse, you have to turn your whole screen, or it will just make you backpedal the whole time.
Basically, with action cam, you can be moving left and looking right, and delivering damage in the other direction.
Yeah,
and you don't have to do anything. If you want to do it without action cam, you can. There's a way to do it. In the options, there is an option where it says using only one of your only right mouse key to rotate your camera. So that means that you got to be using your right mouse key to rotate left and right, and your left mouse key will rotate your camera. But it becomes very confusing quickly. If you can get used to that, that works as well.
Okay, thanks.
Without action cam, you have to be pressing down a mouse key to be actually moving sideways your view or your movement.
Okay.
With action cam, you're just using the mouse. You don't need to press any keys. And you're pointing basically the little dot you get in the middle of the screen. That's basically your pointer. Wherever that is, that's where you're delivering all your skills.